I was pregnant and alone when she showed up on Tinder. I never imagined my life would turn completely upside down. My parents always told me how to live, how to dress, that I should find a good man and have kids, that a woman can work, but she's the one who keeps a home organized, and that there's no such thing as man with man or woman with woman. And I obeyed, until the day everything fell apart. I always felt that secret urge, that curiosity I'd push to the back of my mind whenever I saw certain women pass by. No, I'd tell myself. If I try it, I'll like it. And if I like it, how will I face my family? How will I face the world? So I did what was right. I got a boyfriend. And the last one. He was everything my parents approved of. Everything society expected. And for a few months, I actually believed that was happiness. Until those 2 lines appeared on the pregnancy test. That's when I found out who he really was. Phone blocked. Office door shut in my face. Belly growing, and me, completely alone. It was in my most desperate moment, with my belly already showing under my oversized shirt, that I downloaded Tinder. Just to see, I thought. Just to feel something different. I started swiping through photos. Women. Only women. And then, match. Someone I liked me back, and we could talk. The conversation flowed like it never had before. She was funny, smart. She made me laugh even on my hardest days. Neither of us talked much about what we actually did, about our real lives. I didn't tell her about the pregnancy. She didn't tell me how she worked, only that it was at an internet company. We agreed to meet at a simple restaurant, one of those places I could afford with whatever was left at the end of the month. When she pulled up in that car, oh my God. What happened at that date was so hilarious and unexpected that I still laugh when I think about it today. But what came after? The way my family reacted when I told them? The look on my ex's face when he found out who my girlfriend was? But before we begin, let me tell you something. The videos here on this channel have always been fictional stories for your entertainment. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe for more videos. But still, if this video reached you, it's because there's something in it for you. Just leave a like, tell me where you're watching from and what your relationship status is. Now, let's get started. I was pregnant and alone. When she appeared on Tinder, I never imagined my life would turn upside down. My parents always told me how to live, how to dress, that I should find a good man and have children, that a woman can work, but she is the one who keeps an organized home, and that there is no such thing as a man with a man or a woman with a woman. And I obeyed, until the day everything collapsed. I always felt that secret urge, that curiosity I pushed to the back of my mind whenever I saw certain women pass by. No, I told myself. If I try it, I'll like it. And if I like it, how will I face my family? How will I face the world? So I did what was considered right. I got a boyfriend. And the last one, he was everything my parents approved of. Everything society expected. And for a few months, I even believed that was happiness. Until the 2 lines appeared on the pregnancy test. That's when I found out who he really was. Phone blocked. Office door slammed in my face. Belly growing. And me, completely alone. It was at my most desperate moment, with my belly already showing under a loose blouse, that I downloaded Tinder. Just to look, I thought. Just to feel something different. I started swiping through the photos. Women. Only women. And then, match. Someone I liked me back, and we could talk. The conversation flowed like it never had before. She was funny, intelligent, made me laugh even on the hardest days. Neither of us talked much about what we really did, about our real lives. I didn't tell her about the pregnancy. She didn't tell me what she did for work, only that it was at an internet company. We decided to meet at a simple restaurant, the kind I could afford with what I had left at the end of the month. When she arrived in that car, my God, what happened on that date was so hilarious and unexpected that I still laugh when I remember it. But what came after? The way my family reacted when I told them? The look on my ex's face when he found out who my girlfriend was? But before we begin, let me tell you something. The videos here on the channel have always been fictional stories created for your entertainment. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe for more videos. Even so, if this video reached you, it's because something in it is meant for you. Just leave a like. Tell me where you're watching from and what your relationship status is. Now let's begin. There are moments in life when you realize you were just following a script written by other people. For me, that moment came in the form of 2 pink lines on a pregnancy test, with my hands shaking so much I almost dropped it on the bathroom floor. 24 years living the way my parents thought was right. 24 years swallowing who I really was, pretending those thoughts about women were just a passing curiosity, just some confused teenager thing. My mom always used to say, "Sweetie, you need to find a nice guy, get married in a church, have kids. That's how you build a respectable family." My dad would follow up with that serious look of his. "I don't want you getting mixed up with these modern things. Family is a man and a woman, the way God intended." So that's what I did. I met Rodrigo at a family BBQ. He was exactly what my parents dreamed of. An architect, car of the year, his own apartment, a traditional family. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I saw my mom's eyes light up with happiness. Nobody asked if Gniator was happy. But I tried to be. I swear I tried. I tried to ignore it when I saw that waitress at the coffee shop I used to go to, with her smirk and her confident way of walking. I tried not to think about how different it would be if it were her waiting for me at home instead of him. I tried not to notice how my heart would race whenever I watched those movies with romances between women, hidden in my room with headphones on. If I try it, I'm gonna like it, I'd think, lying in bed at 3 a.m. And if I like it, how am I going to face my family? How am I going to face the church? How am I going to walk with my head held high at the grocery store, the bakery, or at grandma's house? So I pushed all of that to the bottom of my soul and kept dating Rodrigo. 6 months later, I was pregnant. I remember the day I told him. I prepared a special dinner, lit candles, bought those tiny baby shoes you see in movies. I thought he was going to hug me, spin me around the room, call his parents all emotional. He went white as a wall. "Are you sure?" was the first thing he said, in a strange voice I'd never heard before. I took 3 tests, all positive. But we were always careful. Not that night at your cousin's birthday. Remember? You said it was fine, that I need to think. He got up from the table so fast the chair almost tipped over. I need time to process this. Time. He needed time. I waited for 3 days. 3 days of unread messages, calls going straight to voicemail. On the 4th day, I went to his office. The receptionist looked at me with pity when I asked to speak to him. "Dr. Rodrigo asked me to tell you he's in a meeting. I can wait. He's going to be in meetings all day, miss." I went back the next day, and the one after. Always the same excuse. Until, on the 5th try, the security guard wouldn't even let me pass the revolving door. "Miss, Dr. Rodrigo was clear. He doesn't want to see you. Please don't come back here." I just stood there on the sidewalk, watching people rush by, the noisy traffic, the world spinning like nothing had happened, like my life hadn't just crumbled at that exact moment. He blocked my number, blocked my social media. He just vanished. And I was pregnant. Alone. With a belly that was starting to grow and parents who very soon were going to notice. I told my family 2 weeks later, when I couldn't hide it anymore. My mom cried. My dad didn't speak to me for 3 days. When he finally opened his mouth, it was only to say, "You've embarrassed this family. But since you messed up this bad, you better own up to it. He's gone, Dad. He won't pick up my calls. Then you go after him. You beg if you have to. A child needs a father. But I didn't beg. Because in that moment, sitting in my parents' living room, listening to my mom sob and my dad list every single way I had let the family down, something broke inside me. Or maybe something finally broke free. I thought, I'm already at rock bottom. I'm already the family disgrace. I'm already alone and pregnant. What else do I have to lose? And for the first time in my life, the answer was nothing. That night, locked in my room, I downloaded Tinder. My hand shook when I selected interested in women. It was just a tap on the screen, but it felt like I was crossing a line I could never cross back. I started swiping through photos. Women of all kinds. Blondes, brunettes, redheads. Tall, short. With shy smiles or confident looks. Every swipe to the right was a small rebellion. A tiny victory. And then I saw Patricia. Her photo was simple. But there was something in her eyes. An intelligence. A depth. I swiped right before I could overthink it. Match. My heart raced. She liked me back. Her message arrived minutes later. I love that coffee shop in your photo. Their croissants are divine, aren't they? I laughed. For the first time in weeks, I actually laughed. It's the best in town, I replied. I have to disagree. The one at the French bakery is superior. Seriously, that's almost a personal insult. We could do a taste test. For science, of course. And that's how it started. We talked for hours that night. About coffee, books, bad movies we loved, music that nobody else listened to. She was funny in a smart way, without trying too hard. She made me think. She made me laugh. I didn't tell her about the pregnancy. Not that first night, not the second, not even the third. My belly was growing, but I could still hide it with oversized shirts. And I was so happy. For the first time in so long, I woke up excited to check the messages on my phone. I went to sleep smiling. Patricia didn't say much about her work either. I work in administration, was all she said. Nothing too exciting. After a few months of daily talking, she suggested, how about we meet in person? My stomach did a knot, the good kind of knot. Yes, I'd love to. I know a great restaurant on. Let me pick the place? I interrupted. I know a spot. It's simple, but cozy. The truth? I picked the only restaurant I could afford. My money was tight, saving every cent for the baby that would arrive in a few months. Perfect, she replied. I can't wait to meet you. The day of our date finally arrived. I spent hours thinking about how to explain everything I had never told her. In the mirror, I tried to see myself through Patricia's eyes. A pregnant woman, abandoned by the baby's father, still living with her parents because she couldn't afford to move out. Not exactly the ideal Tinder profile. And that's why I never told her. And also because she was the only person who made me smile during such a difficult time in my life. I almost canceled 3 times on the way to the restaurant. I arrived 15 minutes early, too nervous to stay at home. I picked a corner table where I could see the door. My phone buzzed. I'm arriving. I'm in the silver car. I looked out the restaurant window, searching for a silver car. I saw a Civic, a Corolla, and then I saw it. A silver Mercedes-Benz, the kind you see in magazines, pulling up right in front of the restaurant. It can't be, I thought. It must be someone else. But the door opened, and she stepped out. In person, she was beautiful, and she looked high class. My jaw literally dropped. Patricia walked in, searching with her eyes, and when she saw me, her gaze dropped from my face and stopped. It just stopped. Her hand went up to her mouth automatically, unable to believe what she was seeing. Her eyes widened. She stood there completely frozen by the table, looking at me like she was seeing a ghost. The belly, my huge belly, which I had tried to hide during video calls by only showing my face, but now it was there, impossible to ignore. You're... Her voice came out in a strangled whisper. I felt my face catch fire. My hands started shaking on top of the table. I can explain. The words came out in a desperate rush. You're pregnant? Now her voice was louder, making a few people at the surrounding tables look at us. Yes, I am. She kept standing there, hand still over her mouth, her eyes going from my face to my belly and back to my face, like she was trying to process an impossible equation. We've been talking for months, and you didn't think it was relevant to mention that you're pregnant? People were definitely staring now. The waiter stopped in the middle of the floor, not knowing if he should approach or run away. Please, sit down, I begged, feeling tears start to form. Please let me explain. She stood still for a few more endless seconds, then pulled out the chair and sat down, but her whole body was tense, like she was ready to bolt at any second. Explain, she said, her voice tight, because I'm really trying to understand how you hid a pregnancy through months of conversation. I was scared, the words exploded out of me. I was scared you'd vanish like everyone else did. I was scared of losing the only person who made me smile in the hell my life has become. And you thought hiding a giant piece of information, literally giant, she gestured to my belly, was the solution? I know it was wrong. I know. But you don't understand. When I downloaded Tinder, I was at rock bottom, pregnant, abandoned, living with parents who barely speak to me. And then you showed up. You were the only good thing in my life, the only thing that made me wake up happy. I couldn't lose that. I couldn't lose you. And the father? The question was hard, sharp. Vanished when I told him. Blocked my number, had security bar me from his office. He just disappeared. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. So let me see if I got this straight. You're pregnant. You were abandoned by the baby's father. You live with your parents. And you decided to start talking to women on Tinder without saying a word about any of this. When you put it like that, it sounds worse than it is. It sounds worse? She gave a humorless laugh. It couldn't possibly get any worse. And then I said the one thing I was sure would make her get up and leave. I always knew I liked women. Always. But I was so afraid of what people would say, of what my parents would think, that I spent my whole life pretending it wasn't true. I dated the right guys. I tried to be the perfect daughter. I looked at my belly, and look where that got me. Pregnant, alone, despised by my own family. I was already at rock bottom. I was already everyone's disgrace. So I thought, what else do I have to lose? And I downloaded Tinder, and I found you. And for the first time in months, I felt alive. The silence between us was so thick it felt solid. She rubbed her face with her hand. That's a lot to process. I know. And if you want to leave, I'll understand. You didn't sign up for this. You just wanted to meet someone cool, not a desperate pregnant woman who lied by omission for... I lied too, she interrupted me. What? You weren't the only one who wasn't completely honest. She sighed. I don't work in administration. I'm the CEO of an internet company. I own a firm where I hire channels to manage. But I wanted to meet someone who liked me for who I am, not for what I do. That's why I understand you. It was my turn for my jaw to drop. You're a CEO? We just stared at each other. Two liars. Two scared women trying to hide from something. So, I started slowly. You came to a restaurant I picked, which I'm sure you're used to, much better ones. Why? precisely because you picked it, because it mattered to you. Because it's not the place that matters, it's the person. And you. I took a deep breath. You're not going to run away now that you know I'm pregnant? She was silent for a while, a time long enough for my heart to race and for me to be certain the answer would be yes. But then she picked up the menu. I'll have the steak and fries. What about you? I took the menu with shaking hands, still unable to believe it. You're staying? I came here to have dinner with you. The belly doesn't change that. It changes a lot of other things, yes. But it doesn't change the fact that I spent 3 months talking to you, falling for the way you think, how you laugh, how you see the world. She looked me straight in the eyes. Is a pregnancy scary? Yes. Unexpected? Obviously. But you're still the same person who sent me that ridiculous meme at 2 a.m. last week. You're still the person who argued with me for 40 minutes about which ice cream flavor is the best. That hasn't changed. But it has. Everything changed. I'm going to have a baby. I don't have money. I don't have a job. I live with my parents. And I'm the CEO of a company worth millions. I live alone in a massive penthouse, and I spend most of my days in empty meetings with people who only talk to me because they want something. She gave a sad smile. We're in very different places in life, but maybe we complement each other. The waiter chose that moment to appear, clearly nervous after the whole scene. Would you like to order? I looked at Patricia. She looked at me, and for the first time since she arrived and saw my belly, I truly smiled. Yes, we would. We had dinner, and we talked, for real this time. I told her everything about Rodrigo, about how I was sure I was doing the right thing, following the script my parents had written for me, about the pregnancy test, the rejection, the humiliation of being barred from his office. He blocked you completely? She asked, her voice dangerously calm. Like I never existed. What a coward. Patricia told me about her company, how she built everything from scratch, the sleepless nights, the endless meetings, the loneliness of always being surrounded by people but never truly seen. People look at me and they see the CEO. They see the car, the clothes, the title. Nobody sees me. I see you, I said. She smiled. That smile I had seen in her Tinder photos, which was even more beautiful in person. When we finished eating and she paid the bill, insisting despite my protests, we left the restaurant together. So, I started nervous. Will I see you again? How about Sunday? I know an amazing ice cream shop. Ice cream? You're pregnant. I'm pretty sure eating ice cream is mandatory. I laughed. Sunday it is. Sunday came, and I was a nervous wreck. I picked a simple outfit. When I got to the ice cream shop, Patricia was already there, in jeans and a casual shirt. She was sitting at a table, waiting for me. Hey, she said, and this time she gave me a hug. A real hug. We ordered ice cream. Pistachio for her, strawberry and chocolate for me. We walked through the square, talking about everything and nothing. About movies we loved, music nobody else listened to, childhood memories. You know what's funny? She said suddenly. I was terrified you were going to like me for the money, and you were terrified I was going to reject you because of the pregnancy. In the end, we were both afraid of the same thing, of not being seen for who we really are. We stopped at a park bench. The sun was starting to set. Gabriella, she started, and it was the first time I heard my name in her voice like that. Soft, careful. I know all of this is complicated. You're pregnant, I work too much, we're both figuring this out together. But I'd like to try, if you want to. My heart was beating so fast I was sure she could hear it. Try what? This. Us. seeing where this goes. And then she leaned in, slowly, giving me time to pull back if I wanted to. But I didn't want to pull back. Our first kiss was sweet. It tasted like pistachio ice cream and unspoken promises. When we pulled apart, I was breathless. "Wow," was all I could say. She laughed. "Is wow good?" "Wow is perfect." The following days were a roller coaster. Patricia started picking me up for my doctor's appointments. She'd stay in the waiting room, being discreet, always saying, "I'm just a friend," whenever someone asked. "You don't have to do this," I said once. "I know. But I want to." She bought things for the baby. Tiny clothes, diapers, a beautiful crib. I was given so many things. My parents watched everything with suspicion. "This friend of yours," my mom started one day. "She's my friend, Mom." "A friend who spends that much money on you?" "She's well off, and she's kind." But I saw the way my father looked at Patricia. That look that said he suspected something, but wasn't sure. We weren't dating yet. Not officially. But there were stolen kisses when my parents weren't looking. Texts late into the night. Video calls where she made me laugh until my belly ached. And then, one night, the contractions started. I called Patricia, terrified. "It's happening. The baby is coming. I'm on my way. Don't move." She arrived before the ambulance. She helped me down the stairs, held my hand on the way to the hospital, stayed with me in the delivery room when my parents stayed in the waiting room because they couldn't stand to watch it. "You can do this," she whispered, wiping my sweat. "You're the strongest woman I know." And after hours, I heard the cry. My daughter. My little Sophia. When the nurse put her in my arms, I looked at that red, wrinkled little face and I knew. I knew it had been worth it. Everything had been worth it. Patricia was crying, tears streaming down her face as she looked at Sophia. "She's perfect," she whispered. "Do you want to hold her?" "Can I?" I carefully placed Sophia in her arms. And the scene, the way Patricia looked at my daughter, with so much love, so much tenderness. It was at that moment that I knew. I loved this woman. Completely. Irrevocably. During the 3 days I stayed in the hospital, Patricia came every day. She brought real food because the hospital food was terrible. She helped change Sophia. She taught me things she had learned on Google about babies. My parents came to visit. They were awkward, formal. They held their granddaughter carefully but without warmth. "She has Rodrigo's eyes," my mother commented. She didn't. But I didn't argue. Patricia waited for them to leave to come back into the room. "Are they always like that?" "More or less. You deserve more." "I have more. I have you." She smiled. "Yes, you do." When I was discharged, Patricia took me home. She helped set Sophia up in the little room she had put together. "I don't know what to do," I cried. "I don't know how to be a mother." "Nobody knows. You learn by doing." She took Sophia in her arms, rocking her gently. "Look, she's already calming down." How do you do that?" "YouTube. I watched about 50 videos on how to soothe babies." I laughed through the tears. "You're incredible." "No, I just care. About you. About Sophia." It was at that moment, with my daughter finally sleeping in Patricia's arms, that I knew I had to make a decision. "Patricia, will you be my girlfriend?" She stopped rocking. She looked at me. "What?" "I know it's complicated. I know I have a daughter now, that I live with my parents. But I want to try this for real. Not hidden. Not as friends. As girlfriends." A slow smile spread across her face. "I thought you'd never ask." "So, is that a yes?" "It's a huge yes." We kissed right there, with Sophia sleeping between us, and for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. Of course, it wasn't all roses. Hiding a relationship is hard. Hiding it when you live with parents who already suspect is almost impossible. It was my mother who caught us. She walked into the room without knocking and found us lying together on the bed, Patricia with her arm around me, our faces too close to be just friends. What is going on here? I sat up too fast, waking Sophia, who started crying. Mom, No, don't tell me that. That you two... Patricia stood up, calm. Ma'am, Gabriella and I are dating. The silence was deafening. Dating, my mother repeated, her voice dangerously low. You brought this woman into my house, let her be around my granddaughter, and you're dating her. Mom, please. Roberto! She screamed for my father. Get in here now! What followed was one of the worst nights of my life. My father yelled. My mom cried. They said I was destroying the family, that I was a disgrace, that Sophia would grow up confused, that I wouldn't go to heaven. Patricia tried to speak, but they didn't want to hear it. Get out of my house, my father said to her, and don't ever come back. No, I said, holding Sophia against me. If she leaves, I leave too. Gabriella, Patricia started. No, I'm done. Done hiding, done being ashamed of who I am. I looked at my parents. I love this woman, and if you can't accept that, then it really is better if I leave. You have a daughter, my mother screamed. How are you going to support her? She's moving in with me, Patricia said firmly. Both of them are moving in with me. Where my father gave a humorless laugh. Of course, the rich lady solves everything with money. It's not about money, Patricia replied. It's about love, about family, about being present, things you clearly don't understand. Get out of my house, now. Patricia looked at me. Don't worry, I'll come get you. I looked around the room that had been mine my whole life. At the bed where I had slept since I was a child. At the posters on the walls, the photos, the memories. And then I looked at Patricia. At the woman who had stood by me when everyone else abandoned me. Who had held my hand during labor. Who had spent sleepless nights helping me with Sophia. No, I want to go now. I grabbed a suitcase. I threw clothes inside. My clothes, Sophia's clothes, diapers, everything I could carry. My parents watched us in silence as we walked down the stairs. At the door, I turned one last time. When you're ready to actually know the daughter you have, let me know. But I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not just to please you anymore. And I left. Patricia's penthouse was massive. It had empty rooms, space to spare. Here, she said, opening the door to a room overlooking the city. This can be Sophia's room, and yours is right next door. Patricia, I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to. This is what you do for the person you love. The first few days were all about adjusting. Sophia cried a lot. I was exhausted. Patricia was learning to balance work with helping care for a baby. But she hired someone to help me during the day. Slowly, we found our rhythm. Patricia would leave early for the office. She'd get home at the end of the day and take Sophia in her arms, giving me time to take a decent shower. You don't have to do all this, I'd always say. I know, but I want to. And slowly, very slowly, it started to feel like a home. Weeks went by. My parents didn't call. They didn't text. Nothing. It hurt. It hurt more than I expected. But then, one Sunday afternoon, the doorbell rang. Patricia answered it. She came back with a strange expression. Your parents are here. My heart stopped. What? They want to see you. I picked up Sophia, took a deep breath, and went to the living room. My parents were staring at all the luxury. It was probably more than they ever imagined. They looked lost. Hi, my mom said, her voice low. Hi. An awkward silence followed. We wanted to see our granddaughter, my father finally said. I looked at Sophia, then at them. Sure. She's 2 months old now. She likes classical music and hates being hungry. I handed her to my mother, who took her carefully. She's beautiful, my mom whispered, tears in her eyes. She really is. Patricia stayed in a corner, discreet but present. And you? My father looked around. How are you doing? I'm good. We're all doing well. I saw my father swallow hard. We don't agree with this. You know that. I know. But, my mother continued, still holding Sophia. You're our daughter, and this is our granddaughter. And we missed you. Tears started streaming down my face. I missed you guys too. We aren't saying we accept all of this. My father was quick to clarify. But we want to be part of Sophia's life, if you'll let us. I looked at Patricia. She gave a slight nod. You can, I finally said. But there are conditions. Conditions? You respect my girlfriend. You respect where I live. And if you can't do that, then you can't come by all the time. My parents looked at each other. We'll try, my mother said. It wasn't perfect, not even close. But it was a start. But life, as always, had other plans. Because 3 months later, when we had already found our rhythm, when things were finally falling into place, Rodrigo showed up. It was a sunny Saturday in the late afternoon. Patricia and I had taken Sophia to the park. She was 4 months old, still too small for the playground, but she loved watching the other kids running around. Look at her, Patricia said, smiling as Sophia watched everything with wide eyes. It's like she's studying every move. She already wants to catalog everything. She's going to be a CEO just like you. Or a rebel like her mom, who defied her whole family for love. I laughed, leaning in to give her a quick kiss. That was when I heard the voice. Gabriella. I froze. That voice. That damn voice I had heard in nightmares for months. I turned around slowly. Rodrigo was standing there, calling my name like he hadn't destroyed my life. Rodrigo. My voice came out ice cold. He looked at Sophia in the stroller, then at me, then at Patricia by my side. So you had the baby. I did. I placed a protective hand on the stroller. Is it a girl? Yes. An awkward silence. Patricia was tense beside me, her jaw clenched. She's beautiful, Rodrigo said, taking a step closer. Don't go near her, I said, my voice coming out more aggressive than I intended. He stopped and looked at me. Look, I know I was an idiot. An idiot? Patricia's voice was sharp. You abandoned her while she was pregnant, blocked her number, had security bar her from your office. Idiot is way too kind. Rodrigo looked at her for the first time, really looking. And you are? Patricia, her girlfriend. I saw Rodrigo's face change. Confusion, then surprise, then something that looked almost like anger. Girlfriend, he repeated. You're dating a woman? Not just dating, but living together. Is there a problem? No problem. Just unexpected. He ran his hand through his hair, that nervous gesture I knew so well. Look, Gabriella, I know I messed everything up. I panicked. I wasn't ready to be a father, for all that responsibility. And you think I was ready? I interrupted. You think I was prepared to be abandoned while pregnant? To go through the shame of being barred from your office? To hear my parents call me the family disgrace? I know, and I regret it. Regret doesn't pay for diapers, Rodrigo. Regret didn't wake up in the middle of the night when she was crying. Regret didn't hold my hand during labor. I want to make it up to you. he said quickly. I want to be part of her life. I want to help out financially. Now you want to? Patricia gave a humorless laugh. How convenient. After all, the hard work is already over. Look, I don't know who you think you are, but this is between Gabriella and me. No, I said firmly. It's not. Because Patricia has been here since the beginning. She took me to the appointments. She held Sophia for the first time right after me. She is Sophia's family. You're just a sperm donor who panicked. Rodrigo turned red. She's my daughter. Biologically? Yes. In every other way? No. You have no rights over her. You gave up that right when you blocked my number. I can take this to court. You can, Patricia said calmly, and you'll lose. Because we have proof of every single time Gabriella tried to contact you and you ignored her. Every unread message. Every block. A good lawyer would love this case. You can't stop me from seeing my daughter. Now, I won't stop you, I said, and I saw the surprise on his face. But it will be on my terms. If you really want to be part of Sophia's life, you're going to have to prove it. Not with words, with actions. And you're going to have to accept that she has 2 moms now, me and Patricia. I saw him swallow hard. 2 moms. Yes, problem? He looked at Patricia, then at me, then at Sophia. No problem. His voice came out lower. I just want a chance to know her, to be part of her life. Then you'll have to talk to my lawyer, Patricia said, pulling a card from her purse. He's a specialist in family law. We're going to do everything the right way. Regulated visits, everything documented. Rodrigo took the card, looking at it. You guys already calculated all this? We prepared for it, yes, I said. Because this was bound to happen. Because unlike you, we think about the future. About what's best for Sophia. He stood there, holding that card like he didn't know what to do with it. I really am sorry, he finally said. For what I did. For being a coward. Your regret doesn't change the past, Rodrigo. But your actions can change the future. If you really want this. I do. Then call the lawyer. Let's do this right. He nodded, took one last look at Sophia, and left. When he was gone, I could barely stand. Patricia caught me. Hey, you're shaking. I didn't expect to see him. I didn't expect... You were incredible. Strong, firm. I was so proud of you. Do you think he'll actually contact the lawyer? I don't know. But if he does, we're ready. And if he doesn't, well, it just proves we were right about him from the start. I looked at Sophia, who had slept through all the drama, completely oblivious. She doesn't need him, you know? She has everything she needs. She does. She has you. She has your parents, even if they're still learning. And she has me, if you let me stay. If I let you? I looked at Patricia, incredulous. You think after everything, I'm going to let you walk out of my life? You never know. Maybe you'll get tired of me. Impossible. I kissed her right there, in the middle of the park, not caring who was watching. You're stuck with me. Forever. Forever is a long time. It's not long enough. 4 years later, our official wedding ceremony was small. Just family and close friends. My parents were there. My mom cried during the vows. My father shook Patricia's hand and said, "Welcome to the family," with real sincerity for the first time. Sophia was the flower girl, carrying the rings. She was the star of the wedding. When we officially kissed as wives, Sophia shouted, "Mommy and Mommy got married," so loud that everyone laughed. If you're reading this right now and you're scared of owning who you are, Scared of what people will say? Scared of disappointing your family? Scared of not being accepted? I understand you. I've been through it. But let me tell you a secret. On the other side of that fear is your real life. The life you deserve to live. It's not going to be easy. Some people will reject you. Some doors will close. But do you know what else will happen? You will find yourself. You'll find people who truly love you. You'll build the family you choose, not just the one you were born into. And one day, you'll look back and say thank you. Thank you for having the courage. Because living in hiding isn't living. It's surviving. And you deserve more than just survival. You deserve love, happiness, peace. You deserve to be seen for who you really are. So take a deep breath. And when you're ready, take that step. Because on the other side, there are people waiting to love you exactly as you are. I promise. If this story touched your heart in any way, please leave a like down below. It really helps the channel keep bringing stories like this to you. And tell me in the comments. Have you ever been through a similar situation? Have you ever had to choose between pleasing your family or being happy being who you truly are? Share your story with me. I read all the comments, and your experience might help someone who is going through the same thing right now. If you haven't subscribed to Vuelcos de la Vida Britrosa yet, subscribe now. Every week, we have new stories about love, overcoming challenges, and the unexpected twists that life takes. Because life always takes turns, and sometimes those turns lead us exactly where we need to be. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new stories. Until the next story, and remember, you deserve to be happy being exactly who you are.